Welcome back to another fantastic Friday installment of Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Join the club.
Thanks, Jortney.
So we're going to try to put a bullet in the back of this thing's skull as quickly as humanly possible, because that's going to make everybody feel an awful lot better about themselves. By the way, I'm a kindler and gentler Shane this week.
Keep
So-
repeating that. Keep repeating that.
We
I felt really nice about that.
we enjoy presenting you with random esoteric nonsense on the weekly via a podcast that flees from your preferred provider app every marvelous Monday morning, where we also leaven in the occasional lie just to make things uninteresting. And we hope that you enjoy and tune in. But if you're completely unfamiliar, this is a companion video cast to that, where we sort of decompress, try to deal with our awkward feelings and our misplaced sexual aggressions. And it's a really great time for everybody here.
You know, the weirdest thing to me is that
Your
tried-
insane addiction to heroin-addled prostitutes?
that, and also we spent,
can't
what
even
are
say
we, close
sex
to 90
workers.
episodes now? We made it our mission from the beginning of this show, even before Courtney was involved, to not sexualize you, Shane, because it would be very easy to do. And I just kind of feel personally that Courtney stepped over a line by sexualizing you, because we've tried really, really hard and long to not make you a sexual icon.
Well,
where was this in the memo in the general document that says we shall not sexualize Shane? I
No,
don't
it was
recall
in my
that.
contract. I stepped over the line.
You had a
Well.
contract?
Yeah,
You're getting
I
paid?
get paid for these.
I mean, she
What?
contracted something, but that's usually what happens when you deal with John.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, if it doesn't fall off.
Well, we here at Shane Incorporated have no sex, as far as I am aware.
Allegedly.
So, yeah, it's.
And bless you for it.
Let's not. Anywho, so in order to further corrupt and ruin our lives moment by moment, we have also been delving into Chuck Klosterman's ever-glorious hypotheticals, and that is something that we will delve into a little later on. But does anybody have any other awkward nonsense we want to broach from this week's discussion?
not-
Chickens or otherwise?
Not exactly from this week's conversation, but I have some Stephen King follow-up for you.
Ooh.
You gonna lie to me again, or?
No, I'm not. I'm
Ooh.
being very, very honest. You kept a pretty nice secret from me on Everything's Eventual.
Mhm.
And that's that you have 2 Dark Story towers back to back.
You want to try that again, sans dyslexia, or
What did I say?
Dark Story Towers,
Dark Story towers, yeah.
which is
Dark
like a bad
Towers-
Jenga.
We just got done with My Immortal, so I feel like I get one. We all get one.
I'm gonna need about 12. I'm gonna need about 350.
Dark Tower Stories.
There
so
are.
you have the Little Sisters of Illyria, which is a really fun roll-in story.
Mhm.
And then afterwards you get like a real super weird Dark Tower related story
I like Dark Story
with a character
Towers.
that doesn't even come until I think the last book. And I had to look it up midway through reading it, being like, I feel like I know the name of this person, and he's doing things that sound very familiar to me. So I am enjoying Everything's Eventual so far. I just got through LT's Theory of Pets as well, which was hit or miss. But
Yeah, I mean, they're not all home runs, my friend.
well, Courtney, you listened to the audiobook as well, right?
Yes.
When LT's Theory of Pets came on, was it just a live recording of Stephen King reading it to an audience?
That one was a hard one to listen through.
Yeah.
I had to kind of go back a couple times because I would kind of zone out and
Stephen
then would
King-
miss things.
He's a great writer, but I don't really like listening to him talk.
I know we discussed this when we were talking about like Palahniuk. It's almost universally a bad idea for an author to read their own work.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same way that like a screenwriter giving you a line read as an actor is a really bad idea because it kind of kills your interpretation of the material.
For sure.
Normally when you're reading, there's kind of a cadence or something that you will attribute to a character that, you know, you kind of lose when someone else takes on the role. And so as someone who wrote the story, they really are sort of the guiding hand for the entire story. But if they don't necessarily have a reading voice or a persona to adapt to, it makes it excruciating.
Agreed.
But well, I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you had to endure that, but I'm still waiting for us to get to 1408, which is my
I'm soon
favorite.
approaching. Yeah, so I have I think I've said it somewhere on one of our 18 shows, but and I think maybe Courtney does the same thing now using Libby, like
Mhm.
Overdrive from the library. I have renewed Everything's Eventual probably 3 times, which the rental period is 14 days. Because I've gotten into a really nice rhythm with the content that I consume on a week to week basis, and it's like it takes up like my entire week, like the couple shows that I listen to or whatnot. But I find like I'm not renewing it again. You just need to like the podcasts or the things that you listen to aren't going anywhere, but this is a rental, so you can focus 8 hours for the rest of your week to finish this book.
See, I love you can tell the distinction between me working in a library and you existing out in the world. And there's like, for me, it's called, well, it's a loan. That's a loan period. It's not a rental. It's not Blockbuster, but that's,
Whatever.
the joys of being a, hoity-toity library.
I'm sorry to minimize what you do.
That's, you can't minimize it. I'm afraid it's already been deleted from the screen. But
Anyway,
I'm glad
I'm
you
excited
enjoy.
too. I'm at the road virus heads north, which I know that you and Courtney had talked about and enjoyed.
Are you actually reading it or are you listening to it?
I'm listening. So that's where Shane was saying that I lied to him, because last time that I went and recorded over at Shane's, I brought the book back because I felt guilty that I've had it for so long. So
But
he
did not
assumed
explicitly state that. He just said, "I'm bringing your book back to you." That was the phrase. There's nothing further added.
He assumed that I finished it and didn't just kindly return it so that I didn't hold on to his belongings for like 8 years.
Because you don't normally do that at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, between you and Asher still has 2, I think, no, it's probably just 1 season. He's got a season of Venture Brothers that I just probably never going to see again.
Yeah, he has my copy of Ready Player One.
That'll happen.
Anyway, that was a weird tangent. But that being said, yeah, I'm listening to it, and I read the first 2 short stories, then handed it back to Shane, then got the Overdrive copy. So
then did you listen to Justin Long read Everything's Eventual?
Yes,
because that was so good.
So that's the thing, and I know Shane knows this, but I try to explain this to people who try to argue that audiobooks aren't worth anything, because there are some very snide people. They're like, you're not reading. It's like, well, I'm experiencing still, and we've had that conversation already. But if you have a good audiobook narrator, it changes the whole game, which is why I've never physically held Pet Sematary in my hands, but I frequently think about Michael C. Hall reading Pet Sematary to me. I think that and Joe Hill's Horns are 2 of the best audiobooks that one more. American Gods. So American Gods, Horns, just some of the best audiobooks that I've listened to. But Justin Long, surprisingly, really did it for me. And now, strangely, I want to watch Drag Me to Hell now after hearing or listening to him talk to me for 2 hours.
Well, he has a podcast you can enjoy.
Does he?
He does indeed.
Is it just him, or does he have a co-host?
It's just him.
Okay.
Well, he has his brother is on as well. And they kind of do an intro to the show, and then he does interviews with individuals, and then they kind of have a decompression at the end as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Was that pre or post him playing a podcaster?
Yeah.
Post.
In a movie.
Funnily
funny.
enough.
That is very funny.
Life does imitate art, imitating life.
So is he a walrus on the podcast?
He is not, but strangely, it does have a weird feeling of the Nazi party in that his brother, the co-host, does not take part in any of the actual podcast proper, and they just do the intro and outro together, which is
that's pretty bizarre, to be honest with you. Yeah. All right.
I'm giving the opportunity for the other 2 co-hosts to speak, since apparently you and I bogart the whole thing.
We've had this conversation before, as like whether or not an audiobook constitutes an actual like listening to one. I think it was in response to Michael C. Hall's recording of Pet Sematary. I think that was one of the main books that was being discussed at the time. I can't remember when that happened because I have no sense of time, but I think it was in After Dark, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago.
You know who we should ask? We should ask Scott.
Scott?
Yeah. Book Invasion.
Oh.
We should ask Book Invasion his opinions on audiobooks versus, physical read.
I would love nothing so much as having Scott on this show, and we have attempted to try to sync that up, but it seems like the fates are cruel mistresses.
At this point, even if we need to do a special recorded time just to get that man on the show, I think that'd be worth it. He's a fun guy.
Agreed. Yeah. Is a former partner in crime of mine who I miss immensely.
Yes.
But, okay.
Courtney, you got anything? Any Taco Bell adventures?
Taco Bell adventures? No. I am very excited that we are talking about KFC a lot, though, because they do rank number 2 on my chicken sandwich list that I've been working on.
Tight.
Ever since the chicken sandwich wars started, you have to try them all. This is very important, and they actually come pretty close to Popeyes.
So Popeyes is 1, KFC is 2. Who's 3?
I want to say currently we have Chick-fil-A listed at 3, but I'd have to pull up the list.
It's an actually written list at this point.
Oh yeah, Jen and I make an effort to go out and rank them all.
I would say the obsession with Pokemon is obviously showing through here. They have to collect them all.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite things about
KFC
Michael, as well is they actually did, I believe they did a contest, it was a couple years ago, where if you named your kid Harland, you won a bunch of chicken or something. I have to look it up. I don't remember, but Jonah and I were like, oh yeah, we would do that 100%. That's hilarious. So I love hearing more about his backstory, because maybe we should not name our child after such an angry man.
Dang you, DeSanders.
You killed me.
That's what I hear.
I'm excited for part 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the next.
No, we're just going to drag this out. I want to make this excruciating for all the listeners, including ourselves. Yeah. No, interesting last sub-tangent here, because I can't help myself. I'm going to get that t-shirt from my mom that says, help me, I can't stop talking. To try to get into the mood and wake myself back up from an evening of spewing my soul out of my body, I threw on Evanescence's,
debut
record in order to try to dial myself in, and I remember how much I actually really enjoy it. It is always a good listen, and I do not mind. I'm unabashedly appreciative of the Evanescence.
I am sorry, go ahead. I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, please.
I was going to say, I'm truly curious. I wish I could write a note and not lose it, or in my phone or in the house or otherwise. I feel like we've said this. I feel like we hit the nostalgia button almost around the same time every year, because I feel like it's around this time of year that I've sent you hey, remember how Seether's Karma and Effect is actually a good record, but you can't tell that to anybody because they're just going to laugh and call you an idiot? And then you're like, you're not an idiot, it's good. And then you and I exist in this echo chamber, kind of like a conservative would.
Don't talk about my conservative would.
I think I told it to you when we were having band practice that I late at night in the YouTube hole was pulled up old crossfade videos. I went down a modern rock, just rode the suggested video feed for an hour.
It's a wonderful wormhole to follow.
That's where I found out that you don't like Stained anymore, which kind of hurts my feelings.
I never said I don't like Stained. I said I'm not going to perform Aaron Lewis songs vocally any longer. I flatly refuse to take part in that. That's not something you can get me to do anymore.
Which, speaking of, Stained is doing a live stream of one, it's a comeback show for them.
Okay.
Not that anybody cares, because you shouldn't, but I kind of do, because they are playing Break the Cycle in its entirety.
Nice.
And it happens to be the day that you and I are going to be in Clarkdale, which is usually the case.
We'll have to record.
I usually I'll spend the money to rent that because that was such a big part of my musical taste growing up, even though I doubt it. I'm losing the thread here. I feel like I feel like every time I head into these nostalgic bands, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna hold up. Like it's been a year, it's been 2 years. There's no way I'm gonna like this. And then like you're saying with Evanescence, it's like, oh yeah, there's definitely things that I still really hold on to, and I didn't even know that I held on to here.
Mm-hmm. The things that have a definitive impact on you as a human being that doesn't really wear off. It may change. There might be different complexions, and some things do not age well, certainly. But I think if you genuinely loved something and had a dyed-in-the-wool appreciation for it, that doesn't really fade. It doesn't evanesce, so to speak.
They're
told
so
this.
good live.
You've seen them live?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
You've been holding that back this entire time?
That is the second show that I ever saw in my life was the Nintendo Fusion Tour, where Cold was the opener with Revis
Wow.
for them.
I'm probably going to be watching some Evanescence videos later tonight. I actually heard that they put out new music this year as well, or within the past year.
Really? Shoot.
So to what you're saying, Shane, I had this conversation with a coworker over the weekend because at some point on this playlist that he had made, he put Limp Bizkit Rolling on there.
Okay.
And we were laughing about it, but then later on, he queued up a deep cut Limp Bizkit song that was not trash. It was actually a pretty good song, and it reminded me of the story. So Ryan from the band Bear Ghost, when I met him and the bass player Andrew were playing in a different band. Like they'd kind of come in to help the band out, record a record. Like there were new members essentially. And I remember they were like one of the first bands I ever recorded a full length for. And when they showed up, they brought a 7-stringer. He had a 7-string and was very like, they were like, we wrote one song that uses a 7-string. And I found it really odd because it didn't kind of fit in my limited experience. I was like, that's just a really weird artistic choice. But I mean, like, this is what I'm here for. I can't wait to see what they use it for. Turns out that Ryan and Andrew, but especially Ryan, are huge Limp Bizkit fans. Like if you listen to Bear Ghost, you wouldn't peg it as music written by a Limp Bizkit fan.
Terribly poor phrase.
But that story sticks with me ever since because I love that man's writing, and I can't believe that he had the audacity to be like, oh, you like Seether? That's pretty lame. Whereas he's holding like Limp Bizkit on a pedestal. But he's a beautiful man. They're amazing musicians. It's very interesting to see like who the people you respect, like who influenced those people.
To your point, what I was originally driving at, and I have a little subheading here I'm going to insert. I have Stained Unplugged on DVD that you've borrowed from me previously. So if you need to go down, I'll help you. We'll go down swinging.
I feel like you should just bring it over, or next time I'm over, we should just sit down and watch it.
Okay, we're on. But right. So the challenge I came up with while I was thinking about this, and this was something that would have worked really well with Damn Jams before we put a bullet in the back of its skull. But something I think we can still do with that group, but I think would be really fun here, given the eclectic nature of our group that's comprised here, is I want you to compile a list of your top 10 guilty favorite songs. And not just things that I feel, that you're going to go, oh, well, it's not necessarily popular. I mean, something that you probably would feel uncomfortable disclosing to people because of the presumed judgment that is going to follow.
It's going to take me a minute.
I want it to be something we'll build into, so we'll have a couple weeks, because I think when we run out of the Klostermans, that is going to be my way to sort of segue out of the season 1 After Dark, and then we'll move into the new Klostermans afterwards. But this is an assignment for you all to come up with.
Okay.
I'm gonna kill this one.
Y'all
are gonna kick me off the show.
Are we gonna give it the damn jam treatment and just accept the flags and show little clips so that we can all...
I don't think we necessarily have to for every song. I think some things will probably be recognizable of their own accord.
Okay.
Because we
right.
don't want to, we're already bordering on it now, but I don't think we need an hour and a half long After Dark ever again. So and we can break it up over multiple shows. We don't have to do it all in one jaunt. We can actually dedicate one to one person and we can discuss amongst ourselves. So we'll
I like
figure
that.
it out.
Should make it a top
That'll be
5 then,
fun.
so it's shorter.
Oh, come on.
Okay, 10's fine.
We can decide when you want to cut it off, but I think
mean,
10's
Michael's
fun.
over here thinking about if he's ever listened to 10 songs.
Doesn't know
which is
10
fun.
songs.
The Pokemon soundtrack had at least 8
like-
on there.
Or the
He's like,
Digimon
damn-
soundtrack.
He's
You
like,
fine
damn, the
point.
weather's only released 8, so I don't know 10 that are guilty pleasures
Yeah, I
that
honestly,
nobody else would like.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, I don't know what is generally popular with people, especially given that I don't really listen to. I either listen to pop music that everyone listens to.
Doesn't
because I have no
matter.
taste,
That
or-
can be guilty pleasure.
It is.
You
It
can
is
still just make
completely.
the list.
It's what
Okay, I guess.
matters to you that you might not necessarily want to share with folks. I'm not saying that it has to be not popular. It can be a popular song.
Okay,
What he's saying is that it's your opinion, man.
I don't have opinions.
That's
Boring.
painfully evident. So
Evident.
evident.
That episode will just be like 5 minutes long.
Good.
Not the way you speak. So moving on, here is what we're going to encapsulate into a 5-second run on Mr. Klosterman. But our
Here we
second
go.
to the last, the penultimate in the original box of hypotheticals is You're the Boss. Appropriate that
Danza?
we're on music here. One morning you awake and immediately feel strange. You get out of bed and realize that you are inside a posh hotel room you've never seen before. There's an attractive red-headed stranger sleeping in the bed alongside you. You frantically get up and rush into the bathroom. You look into the mirror. Much to your utter amazement, the image looking back at you is Bruce Springsteen. Somehow, you've magically become Bruce Springsteen. You start talking to yourself, and the voice you hear is Springsteen's speaking voice. You quietly sing to yourself, and it sounds like Springsteen's singing voice. You walk back into your hotel room and see an acoustic
You're
guitar.
Bruce.
You attempt to play it, but your musicianship is identical to how it was when you were your previous self.
Oh,
pretty bad.
Non-existent.
In other words, you have Bruce Springsteen's physical body and vocal cords, but you have your own mind and skills, and all of your experiences and memories are unchanged. Your knowledge of Springsteen's lyrics and the details of his personal life are the same as they always were.
Oh no! Oh, shoot!
You are inside Springsteen, but you are still yourself. Your brain is unchanged.
Okay, so maybe you should repeat that a couple of times just in case I don't get it. That I sound like him, I am him, but I have all of his memory, or I have all my memories. It's my brain, his
But
voice,
you're not-
my
you're not
body,
him,
or his
though.
body.
Yeah, get it all out.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
You feel better?
Yes.
He's a kinder, nicer Shane.
You open the door of the hotel room and see a copy of the Los Angeles Times. You flip to the entertainment section and discover that Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band are scheduled to perform a concert that night at the Staples Center. What do you do in this situation? How do you proceed?
I can give a
So
very
accurate.
straightforward answer.
Okay, so I don't know if you get to
Oh.
go back to your body at any point in time, like a Freaky Friday situation, like where eventually, like if I find myself and we touch fingers or something, if I get to transfer back. But I feel like if there's no getting out of the situation, like if I'm just Bruce Springsteen, I'm gonna at least have to try. And I foresee Springsteen's career taking some drastic turns. I think the reviews are going to come in saying that he's taking a very avant-garde approach to songwriting, where he's just mumbling lyrics like Tekashi 6ix9ine. Because if it's based on my current musical ability paired with my knowledge of Bruce Springsteen, ouch, it's not going to be good for anybody. But it's not going to be my personal embarrassment, because it's going to be Bruce Springsteen's embarrassment. So I'm fine with embarrassing other people at the expense of myself.
Now, here's the fun thing, though. We do exist in modern times where monitors are very likely available for you to run lyrics on. And I imagine if you have enough time, you can probably pull up some tablature. And you, of the group of us, myself included, are uniquely skilled insofar as you know how to play the instrument. So you can probably learn 10 to 12 Bruce Springsteen songs in fairly quick succession
He's been playing for so long.
He has.
His set list, especially at the Staples Center, it has to be like a 2.5, 3-hour show.
Well, I'll save my retort to that, but continue.
Well, I feel like that's where I'm at. I feel like I still play the show, and I don't even hope for the best. I just go in expect. You know what? I go in the same way I go into any show, which is expecting it to ruthlessly suck and hoping that I'm either pleasantly surprised or validated.
So what you're saying is you're going to show up late and be unprepared. Okay. Yeah, this completely tracks. You just have an actual excuse this time as opposed to any other.
Hey, Google wasn't working.
Yeah, the man who Google forgot. John Dubs. All right, Michael, give me your 3-second response.
All right.
Trick question, I kill myself.
That's
my first response was I run away. I just leave.
That is an answer.
You're Bruce Springsteen. You're not exactly inconspicuous.
My puts on a mustache.
No, exactly. I put on the glasses with the fake nose and the mustache and beagle puss or whatever it's called, and I run away. Actual answer, now that I gave it 2 seconds of thought instead of 0 seconds, is that I break my hand in such a way that I can declare my retirement and not go to the show.
So you're banking on the fact that your hands would be insured because you are a celebrity, a high-level celebrity.
Yes.
I mean, your voice still works.
I would break my hand and try and get out of it. You said that I have the singing capacity, but he also plays guitar.
Yeah, but he can still sing. You're Bruce Springsteen. You can hire someone to play guitar for you and just say, "Hey, I had an accident." You're not going to be able to just worm out of it, but like, my hand.
And to Shane's point, like the monitors on the stage, I guess it would almost be like you could almost do like a karaoke thing where it's like, all right, 4 bars in, here are the words. Okay. You have his voice.
I'd up the ante then. I would break my hand in such a way that I would be unable to attend said event, and I would announce my retirement.
You're turning this from a hypothetical to Jigsaw. Like
And also, I hate to tell you, there have been people who have broken their hands who still went on tour and performed nightly. It doesn't make the rest of you cease to function.
Michael throws himself in front of a car.
I know drummer he barely functions anyway, but still.
Isn't it the drummer from Def Leppard and the drummer for the Ghost Inside, if you want a modern example? They both lost like a leg and found ways to continue to play the drums.
It's arm in Def Leppard's case,
whatever.
But,
the Ghost Inside was a leg, and they flat out got him a special prosthetic, and he can still just wail on the kit. It's great.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you have people who have broken their legs on tour and just roll out in a wheelchair and sing. James Hetfield from Metallica had a severe broken arm, and he went out and just sang on stage with the hair and the thing. And
I feel like you're trying to kill yourself, Michael.
I am kind of, yes.
It's like that you can also play a musical instrument and you have at least a bare understanding of music in general. And your response is, I'll break my hand and no one will expect anything from me. You played a wind instrument. Do you think you would have gotten away with that?
You just had a quantum moment there.
Well, considering the place where you were playing music, I wouldn't be shocked. They don't expect much of anything from you, but still.
Like, I can't do it this week. I broke my hand. See, look, it's broken. Okay. They're like, you weren't that useful anyway. All right, cool. We'll get someone to replace you.
Michael, can I help you?
No.
Do you want to phone a friend?
Sure.
Do you know all you have to do in today's time to get out of playing a gig?
Oh, say something problematic?
No, tell them that you got COVID.
Oh, that's...
I mean,
better than breaking your damn hand.
I was going to say,
be like something to get me to declare retirement.
You have laryngitis, you have throat cancer. I mean, there's any number. There's polyps. You've frozen a vocal cord.
from tobacco.
I don't know how this stuff works.
And you
All right,
broke the
fine,
curse wall. Well done.
Yeah, I'll just.
And I almost did, but I held myself back because I'm the consummate professional.
I thought that would be. I thought my answer would be like, okay, cool. He would cop out. All right, moving on. I didn't think I would actually be like, well, can you really cop out? People in this industry can't just simply cop out.
That's what
You're in it for the
hypotheticals
long
are
haul,
for.
buddy.
That's what hypotheticals are for.
I'm just saying, you don't understand the music business,
I
apparently, because
don't.
the Staples Center in Los Angeles has a very sizable capacity, which means there's a lot of people losing a lot of money if you just broke your hand. You're not going to talk your way out of that just by being a doofus and trying to say, like, I'm incapable of things because hand. Like,
Have you seen this?
I realize that you have no responsibility through the course of your life other than occasionally forgetting to pay utility bills, but some people are reliant upon Springsteen to thrive and function in the world, not the least of which his backing band, who would be like, okay, you hurt your hand, we got another guy that can play guitar, just get up there and sing. So all you're fine. You're a Jersey boy.
Right.
Toughen up.
And for
Fine.
the listeners and viewers, this is
kinder, gentler Shane.
this has been a message from kinder. Gentler Shane.
I'm just done talking to you, Michael. We're moving on. Courtney, please give me your response.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Okay, so what I do, I compile a list of my top 10 guilty pleasure songs. I take them in. I tell the band, this is our new set list. I say, screw the guitar. I don't play it anymore. I only play piano. Bring in the piano. This is what we're doing. Let's go.
So essentially you turn into a Blackpink cover band for one set.
No.
Oh.
Also, spoilers. She can't say what her top 10 is.
That wouldn't even be on my list. See, I don't have any shame in listening to K-pop. I think it's entertaining. I think it's fun. It's dance music. It's good.
That's fair. Okay.
But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? Bruce has different taste.
And he also talks in third person. And if you could refer to me as she, her, I would really appreciate it.
I identify as Courtney now. Courtney Springsteen.
I'd be, what do I do with this junk? I don't know.
Born with wrong genitals.
What do I do with this junk? I don't
And
know.
all of a sudden, Courtney Springfield is trending on Twitter. They're demanding 2 or 3 or 5 more nights at the Staples Center. At which point you're refining your skills. The set has become actually non-ironically good.
This is my dream, honestly. To perform at the Staples Center would be like pretty cool. And then to be someone who's already famous, even more cool. And then just to go with it and have a good time, I think would be awesome.
Would you immediately call your husband and like fly him out and then do stuff with your husband after the show?
He wouldn't be into that. So
Stop.
no.
In this hypothetical
projecting.
situation, would Bruce Springsteen be the top or the bottom in your marriage?
Stop projecting, John. Please.
say,
What makes you think any of that would change, John?
John keeps trying to figure out how hetero-flexible your husband is.
Seriously.
I'm testing.
John already knows. I don't know why he's asking.
I'm testing the electricity of the fence.
Stop peeing on it, please.
Besides, like, if I'm Bruce Springsteen, it's my time to shine. This has nothing to do with him.
Fair enough. Shane,
I was
what
going to
happens to
say
you when you're the boss?
there is a film that came out fairly recently of someone who essentially sort of flies back in time and comes up with the entire catalog for the Beatles because he knows their music and it's pre the Beatles.
Yeah.
This is essentially me doing an inverse of this. Is I know a lot of music. I have been playing it since I was 15 years old. If you think I can't walk into a group of seasoned professional musicians and say, we're changing, as Courtney was throwing, this was my whole scheme. It was like, changing the set list a little bit tonight, boys. I can get through several. I can do Born in the U.S.A. That's not a lot of chords I got to finagle. So I can learn, a good clutch of Springsteen tunes for the evening and then say, by the way, we're going to do something weird tonight, guys. We're going to do some Pink Floyd covers. I may even bust into a couple of random bizarre folk tunes because, I like Neil Young. I can do some little things that are kind of contemporary music to me. He's a Jersey boy, so, I can manage to finagle a couple weird Tom Waits tunes in there. I feel like my musical taste superimposed onto Springsteen is going to be so left field that you'll get a whole new audience involved because, one, fame and notoriety buy you a lot of cachet with very little criticism, particularly when he's a rock god and Hall of Famer. So if I do a Margot and the Nuclear So-and-So's cover as Bruce Springsteen and I'm busting into Broad Ripple is Burning in the middle of the stage, that's YouTube sensation. The whole world suddenly starts tilting off axis because Bruce is doing a lot of really weird stuff. And now it's like this whole, glorious renaissance of Bruce Springsteen. And I would bilk this thing for all it is bloody worth because I have never had real good success as a musician myself. So if I can piggyback and stand on the shoulders of a giant, you can bet your bottom dollar I will do so.
You'll get drunk. Yeah.
Probably not.
Drunk off the fame. That's what I'm saying. Like, you'll get a taste of it, and then you'll just get drunk off it. You'll be high on it. And
why'd you go ICP on me? I'm not talking
The
about
taste of the
Faygo.
glory.
Not anymore.
it tastes
Not
like.
with that attitude.
I'll cover
Right,
some Limp
Michael?
Bizkit.
Well, you got to have faith.
Indeed, I could actually get Limp Bizkit to come and back me and have George Michael join me on stage. I'm Bruce Springsteen.
Who's Springsteen's rivals? Like, is there anybody that he's like?
It's not West Side Story. They're not the Sharks and the Jets. He's not clicking his way down to stage waiting for Bob Dylan to come fight him.
Like, if
When
you
you're
were,
Bruce
like,
Springsteen, you're
Who are
squeezing
your
all the way.
rivals, John?
I can't say that. I can't say that on air.
I can.
No,
Hi, honey.
please don't.
I like this idea though of now you're President Bruce Springsteen. Like my first action as President Bruce Springsteen is to free Britney Spears.
I mean,
mine is more like if I'm operating recklessly on the assumption that I will eventually go back to my own body, how do I leave Bruce Springsteen worse than I found him?
Why? Why are you like this?
It takes very little effort and energy to destroy something. And
I
learned
like,
that.
I feel like, Courtney, the reason I am the way I am recently is because casual nihilism.
Oh, that must be
it's a hell-
exhausting.
It's a hell of a drug.
Well, thank you all for joining in to this glorious trip down the strangest tributary of our minds.
Ugh.
And we hope you're all, folks on the run, as it were, by the time we finish. Or maybe you're running on empty. Who knows? Neither of those are Bruce Springsteen songs, just for the record. I just wanted to see if anybody was picking up what I was
I was going to say
down.
Band on the Run, but I couldn't see that in there, and I know that
That
isn't
was what
Bruce
I was
Springsteen.
alluding to. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Excellent. Cool.
See, there you go. McCartney. That's one of Springsteen's rivals. They'll get in a fist fight.
Oh man, I've always wanted to punch McCartney.
Front row, section B.
You can schedule a fight with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, you
Go into
can.
a ring.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah.
People would see it.
You can hit him with his
MMA
wife's
fight.
legs.
That's a big oof there, good sir.
Thank you.
Ugh.
Kinder, gentler Shane.
I like the start of this new series arc.
Ugh.
I feel like
It's
you're
really
off to
great.
a really good start.
Mm-hmm. Honey Tongue
Yeah.
Hunt over here, just having a grand old time. And if
Really
you want to
rolls off
get
the tongue.
down and show us how your honey tongue works, then you can follow Michael's instructions and
You can smash that like button
with a leg.
with the leg. You can
Swing for
stomp
the
on
fences.
that like button, the subscribe button. You
The
can
bell.
You can
hit
hit,
the bell.
smash the like button like it's McCartney on the opening night of a Springsteen tour.
leave a comment, please. If you liked what you saw, please tell us. If you found who do you think is Bruce Springsteen's rivals? Leave a comment. Leave a comment down below. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Engagement. Yes.
Nice.
Haha.
Don't vamp ever again. You
Yeah.
stick to the script and then you
Here-
shut up.
Here's a better
Oh,
one.
Yes, Dad.
Who would win in a fight, Courtney or Michael? No one respond right now. Just answer the comments.
Is that even a question? I
Oh.
feel like Courtney can scrap. I feel
Okay.
like she can.
Wow, you're just no fighting you.
Nope.
Well,
Mental.
you can, experience this irresistible bliss multiple times weekly. For instance, new podcast episodes fleeing from your preferred provider app every marvelous Monday morning. Wednesdays, we do fanfic here on the Tubes of You at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And keep coming back here on Fridays for more of Disinformed After Dork. And we hope that you have survived this Springsteen installment. So, to wrap this bloody thing up like a bad set down at the jive bar, I am kinder, gentler Kenton Eldorado.
I'm the nihilistic Timothy Lone Cactus.
I'm the cop-out Robert Greer.
I'm just Jean Grey Ghost. Just kill it.
More like perverted.
As long as you didn't say, like slopper slanging Jean Grey Ghost, then I think you're fine. Anywho,
Fair enough.
remember, please, regardless of what body you wake up in or next to or atop of, we would like you to live, laugh, and laugh.